All right, Burke, we're going to talk about your team. Indiana wins 89-76. Was kind of close there in the first half. Things were
They were winning. Yeah.
yeah. But Indiana pulled it out. I don't know if I ever thought Harvard was going to win, but it definitely didn't look good. What were your thoughts on this one, Burke?
My thoughts are that we need to immediately get that freshman point guard that Harvard had. That kid, Malik Mack, that dude is a bucket.
Yeah.
And really, the Hoosiers did put it together in the second half. They really did. Our front court was dominant, and Mackenzie Mgbako finally had the game that we've all been hoping for. As Hoosier fans, we are very quick to just put all faith and all trust in these freshmen.
Right.
But man, if this team is going to be doing anything of prominence it come March, Mackenzie needs to find his game, and that starts on the defensive end. He has been a defensive negative throughout the entire start of this first 6 games, but it seems like he came out with an effort in this game, to a real conscious effort to get involved on that end, and it turned into just offensive productivity that we hadn't seen from him, that we desperately need from him, that we desperately we're going to rely on at the start of the season. And then just as far as what there is to love about this team, like Malik Reneau has taken his game to another level. He really has. Like, if you're talking sophomore bumps, that guy's right up there with the best of them. He's been a very reliable force, but the single most reliable force on this team has been Kel'el Ware, who is bringing it game in and game out, when his motor was the question we all had at the front of our minds going into this season. It's crazy how he's been answering the call, and it is in juxtaposition to that, it is alarming how our veteran guards haven't. The perimeter defense is on them, and defense has been like the baseline of Mike Woodson's entire tenure at Indiana. And if we don't have that, we have nothing to build upon. It's been troubling watching the lack of cohesion that you right, for better or worse, you kind of blame that on the veteran captains of this team.
Well, Gabe Cupps has come in, and he has been all defense. Obviously he plays well on offense as well, but man, that guy, when he gets in there, he's just an energy bunny for your defense that you need. And to me, it's kind of surprising that you're not getting that from a Trey Galloway. I know Xavier Johnson, he's always energetic, but I would think coming in, being this, come back, what is he, a 5th-year senior or something like that? Sixth-year senior.
He is damn near a doctor of basketball. Like, he can't afford to be doing this. It's killing us.
Right. You would think he would come in and be kind of that defensive presence. But, the thing I noticed the most in the first half talking about was when he went down with 4 minutes left or something like that in the first half. The team, not to say they looked lost, but they didn't seem to be playing as well after he went down. That's when Harvard got the lead and it started to extend it a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't know if this team is better or worse without Xavier Johnson, but I feel like they need Xavier Johnson. So hopefully he can come back from that injury soon.
What this team needs most is confidence in their shooting. Like Trey Galloway, you're watching this team take shots, and his confidence in his own shot just deflates anybody watching the game. Like, I love Trey Galloway's game. He attacks the rim hard as hell. He has confidence when he's attacking the rim. But it's a trait that Jalen Hood-Schifino embodied. Like, Jalen Hood-Schifino could miss 53-point shots, but he took every shot like the next 75 were going right in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like Trey shot 47% from beyond the arc last year. Like, if that doesn't warrant some confidence in you, I don't know what would. And it is troubling that the biggest question is the presence that we thought we were going to be able to rely on this season.
Yeah, you definitely looked for more from Trey. I think he's got it there. I just think he needs to put it altogether. Frank, because Burke said some nice things about Purdue, you do need one nice thing to say.
At least
IU.
one. Come on.
Oh, I've got some nice things for sure. Well, one thing I'll say is that, throughout Xavier Johnson's tenure at Indiana, he has been so highly regarded by the fan base, and I've never understood why, but I see it now. I do. I saw against Army, like he was the guy who I want to say rallied the troops against Army, but he got the team going. Like he was commanding the floor. Like he has the intangibles, and he has a certain presence about him where you listen to what he says. Like, and you're right, he has a PhD in basketball at this point. Why shouldn't you? But Mackenzie and Mgbako, I mean, he's kind of been a bit of a letdown offensively, and I think the view of him has kind of shifted from, this is the guy that's going to get us, to a championship, to a Final Four, to like, well, now he has to develop. But yeah, I mean, defensively, he has struggled. You can, it's not hard to look on Twitter and see all sorts of breakdowns of him getting lost and, missing his man. But man, like Kel'el Ware has been awesome. He terrifies me. Like he really terrifies me as someone who could actually give Zach Edey some problems. Like he's scary. I mean, he's shooting the ball well. He's not shooting a ton, but he's 4 for 8 from 3. He's getting to the line a lot. He's blocking balls like crazy. I mean, I did not expect that from him. And I also didn't expect the leap from Reneau. And I mean, from the fan base as a whole, is that a surprise to you all?
We were all expecting a leap, but we didn't know that it was going to be this substantial right out of the gate. Like he really, the weight he put on this offseason was a large amount, and he desperately needed it, but he is utilizing it with a physicality that he didn't have at all last season. I mean, his footwork is natural to him. It's the best facet of his game is his ability to dance down low. But now that he's able to kind of throw some weight around while he's doing that, he has just been exploiting some front courts.
And what I think Indiana's missing right now, just in my opinion, is someone like Miller Kopp, right? Someone who just has a ton of gravity and who keeps defenses sucked to that corner, right? Because I think about, the Purdue Indiana game at Assembly Hall last season. I mean, he lit us up because we would just help a little too much in the paint, and boom, there he was, right? And so Trey Galloway hasn't proven to be that guy this season. And ultimately, like someone has to step up and be that 3-point threat. Like, well, if you give him a foot of space, he's going to hit the shot. And ultimately, that's what this offense needs, I think, in order to click completely. But you're right. I mean, Mike Woodson has made a living so far at Indiana on the defensive end, and this just isn't what we expect from an Indiana team. But in your opinion, what do they need to turn it around? Is it just practice? Is it scheme? What do you see there?
It's buying into. It's just buying in. Like they definitely brought an effort. Well, Mackenzie in particular. Like he brought an effort into the Harvard game that we hadn't seen all season, and it turned into his most prosperous night. He had 18 points in that game. Mm-hmm. And like he is able to shoot that 3, and we need him to be that outside force that is going to draw some people from the interior, where Kel'el and Malik they could be one of the most dominant. They could be the most dominant. Zach Edey. He's the most dominant player in the front court. But as far as a tandem go, they could be one of the most feared in this conference. But it will take clearing it out a bit. Like we can't have all that traffic down low. And that could be Trey as well. Like I still have faith that Trey will find these shots. Like he can't keep shooting at the rate he is. But until he buys into his own game, you just don't see the end of it right now.
Well, and I have concerns about Mackenzie and Mgbako, but he did answer those somewhat against Harvard with the 18 points, like you said, but still, he only went 1 for 5 from 3 points. I got to be honest, I really feel like he's more of a 4. 6'8", 217. He's a little bit undersized for that. In college, that's an okay size. But at the next level, that really won't be a great size in the NBA for that. But I tell you, I don't like his perimeter game enough for him to be a consistent 3. I think he can play the 3, but I'd really like to see him more at the 4 more often. And I think that's kind of why you're seeing a bit more of the jumbled paint area and stuff. That's why you see Kel'el Ware having to come out and shoot the 3 a little bit more, which thankfully he's good at. Like you said, 4 for 8. That's really good for a 7-footer to be able to shoot like that. But looking at it, I think Mackenzie Mgbako needs to find his place on this offense a little bit more. And I really feel like once he starts hitting these 3s, it's going to not only help him, confidence wise, but it's going to help him, moving around the offense more and helping some of those things. Am I off base there? What do you think, Burke?
No, I mean, part of that was him finding his place in the offensive, like down low on the boards. He had 8 rebounds. Yeah, him and Kel'el tied game high rebounds in that game.
Right.
And it really was just a effort that he brought that he hadn't previously. And it's like, that's the most frustrating thing about this team this season. It's how do you not bring that? Like that effort can make up for, it's so cliche, but it can make up for so much.
Right.
And yeah, you just can't afford not to bring it.
My in-laws have season tickets to IU, and they actually got to sit courtside for the Army game. And it was interesting because they came back and told us that, when you're courtside, you hear everything. I don't know if you guys have ever sat courtside before, but you hear everything when you're courtside. And they were surprised how much Mike Woodston was getting into Mackenzie Mgbako and Xavier Johnson and Kel'el Ware. I mean, my mother-in-law said, I don't think I would ever say what he was saying to them, to own children.
Hey, yeah, we need it. We need it. But I mean, that's what he preached that he was going to put on Kel'el the whole time. He was like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you how it is." And Kel'el's game is speaking for itself in that regard.
Right, and I think that's what you need. I mean, Kel'el Ware, he leads the team in almost every category. I think assists is the only one that he doesn't lead it in. But 17 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, a steal, 1.7 blocks. I mean, He is the engine that's making this team run right now. So maybe that hard coaching is just exactly what he needed. Thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.